Okay, council, the county council is convened for a couple of work sessions. Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. We're going to start out with some information for us to consider related to the county manager performance review process. So Laura, let me just say a couple things maybe before you get started. Just going back to last year, there was an evaluation of the county manager last year, and the directive, because I went back and looked this morning at, we had a process, and the thinking was that in the following year that we would flesh that out a little bit more, which Laura and I have been working on for a couple of months. And so the intention was that we would have a more comprehensive process. So this that you'll be looking at today is a proposal for how we could move forward with an evaluation. And that's not to say in future years we can, build on this and change, but we wanted to get your feedback before we move forward further. So thank you.
For the record, Laura Provald, HR Director, Clark County. Can you guys hear me okay? Sorry, I'm short. So as Chair Marshall stated, we have been working in collaboration over the last couple of months on developing a performance review process for the county manager. So what we have today is just basically a draft of that process and then the forms related to the process. The purpose of the process is just to provide a consistent structured way to evaluate the county manager. It ensures alignment with the county's vision, mission, and strategic actions. It also promotes accountability, transparency, and a high performance culture. The overall objectives of the process is to assess the performance against countywide goals and personal objectives, identify leadership strengths and development needs, and encourage continuous improvement and shared accountability. If you scroll down just a little bit there, Rebecca, there is an evaluation timeline built into the process, showing that the different, sub-processes would be self-evaluation form that would start roughly 90 days before the end of the year, which is done by the county manager. A peer and director evaluation, again, about 90 days before year end, and that is kicked off from human resources. That we have identified will go to the directors that report to the county manager as well as the elected officials, so the assessor, treasurer, so on and so forth, as well as a small grouping of employees that support the county manager's office. And then the third form is the formal evaluation, which is the responsibility of the council. That is once we compile the self-evaluation from the county manager, as well as all of the information from that peer director evaluation, that would be presented to council, and then you would move forward with your guys' actual evaluation process. The evaluation components that we've built into this are tied directly to the county manager's goal, but also the county's vision, mission, and strategic actions. Those are the community relationships, which would be partnerships, inclusiveness and engagement, customer service, which would include business process improvement, responsiveness, data-driven decisions, decision-making process, so strategic alignment, dashboards, transparency, employee relationships, workplace culture, support, inclusion, fairness would be covered under those. Finance, so basically the budget and being able to uphold that and the process. And then technology and leadership, which would be growth and policy, planning, and innovation. So again, those are the primary evaluation components that we've built into this process. The step-by-step process, so the performance review. Again, like I described, it would go through the self-evaluation, the peer director evaluation, the council evaluation, at which point, once the council has come to a consolidated version of the formal performance evaluation, that would be then delivered in executive session to the county manager, and the process would be complete. I think at the end, what this process does is it is a collaborative process that it's been developed. It involves feedback from multiple perspectives. It focuses on growth, transparency, and strategic alignment, provides clarity on expectation and measurable outcomes, and ensures a fair and well-documented basis for employment decisions. So I'm not sure, Rebecca, if you want to scroll through, I have also attached all of those forms that would be then sent out. And I wasn't sure, I didn't plan to walk through every one of them, but I'd be happy to address any questions anybody has on any of that.
Great, thank you. And I just a comment on the timeline. Last year, the council's directive was to have this annual review completed in October. And so that's how we arrived at this timeline now. But open to any comments, feedback from any of the council members. So, Councilor Little?
Yeah, thank you. This is a good process. Does it end with a compensation decision in executive session, or how does that work?
So at this point, and I might defer to Amber, but I believe that has to be done in an open public meeting, any compensation decisions. However, I will say that the current county manager's contract, it does have an expiration date at the end of this year. However, it does also have a component of a 1-year extension built in. So that would be decisions council definitely could make. Did I address that appropriately? Okay.
Thank you.
Of course.
Super excited to see this. This is something I've been advocating since day one on my council, I think, or on the council. I think this is beneficial for the community. It's beneficial for the council, and it's also beneficial for the county manager as well. And I'm super supportive of this. I think this is a major improvement over what our process was previously. Still a couple things that I would like to look at, but let's move forward with what we got for this year for sure. I still would like to, and we'll see this play out 1 year and then we can take a look at it again, but I still think there could be some benefit to bringing in an independent third party to perform some of the reviews and the analysis for us. And then I feel like there could be, although it's, it would have to be a very thoughtful process that we would need to go through, but I think some performance like measurements could be added, some actual metrics that we could follow to help in that evaluation. And then I also think that we really need to look at the contract with the county manager and the timing of the end date or renewal periods to align with the process, because I do feel like the evaluation should be done after, so it should be done first quarter, because it should be done following the budget process, which is an integral part of this. So those are my comments. Looking forward to all these future conversations and very much looking forward to the first evaluation this way.
Great. And I would, something that Chair Marshall and I did discuss was to take a look at, to move through the process, if you guys are supportive this year, and then after the first of the year, likely second quarter, we could really sit down again and see, lessons learned, take a review, what if there's any changes the council would like to make. That would be a wonderful time to do that.
Thank you. Good comments. Any other comments? Yes, Councilor Belcock.
I can't tell for some weird reason if my hand was up or if it wasn't up. I don't know what's going on with my WebEx, but Laura, I didn't catch, or maybe you mentioned it already. Was the October date put into this template?
So what we did, designed it where it just was a certain number of dates or certain number of days from when we needed to kick something off to the end of the year. So roughly both the self-evaluation and the peer and director evaluation would be 90 days, which would roughly be about now. To start that process, and then having the formal evaluation done 45 days before the end of the year. So it should put us roughly around that end of October timeframe.
Okay, and then just I know that was important to us the last time that we talked about that, and just for those that are new on the council, that was because I believe there was a few times where it was discussed when the council had turned over, which was not helpful since the other counselors hadn't worked with the county manager, so that made things more complicated and was not helpful. So I think this is great. I don't think we should be. I think these metrics are great. I know that former Councilor Bowerman and I discussed some of this with our HR background last time, but this is great. I don't think that we need a third party. I think Councilor Young mentioned a third party, but we're the evaluators as the council of the county manager. So I'm not sure how or what that would look like having a third party involved in this.
I think the suggestion was in the future, we could look at that. So maybe it could be articulated more precisely, but it could be something we look at in the future. But I don't think Councillor Young was suggesting it for this time.
Is that performance feedback for the county manager? I'm not sure where the third party.
So my thought process behind that, and Chair Marshall was correct. I'm not suggesting we implement that in this time, but it's something that we could evaluate for the future. But the idea is that it is a bit difficult for the council to get information and open feedback from various individuals, whether they be separate elected and or department leads, just because of the nature of who would be asking them for their idea of how the county manager's performance has been. So it's difficult to just there's the what's the word I'm looking for? There's the help me out here. It's a struggle to be an open and transparent about your boss, quite frankly.
It's a perception.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
perception.
Correct.
I will say that the way that we've designed the peer and director evaluation, I've worked with my team in hopes that we would be able to move this forward rather quickly. And we do have it set up in a form template through Smartsheet. And it is going to come back through and will be aggregated and confidential information that's then produced to the council for review. So there will not be names associated with comments and or ratings.
Okay, there'll be more to discuss next year related to this, but I agree. Thank you very much, Laura, for your work on this. I know you've got already a very busy schedule, so it's been very helpful to turn this around so quickly.
So am I good? Do I get a thumbs up to go ahead?
Okay,
and move
let's
forward?
ask that question. Is it a thumbs up to move forward with this? Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we have one more work session, which